What's going on, Bucs fans? You're watching Bucs Breakdown presented by PrizePicks. My name is Reed Barkus. Wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching, hope you're having a great day today. On today's show, we're going to be talking about, could the Bucs be trading Anthony Nelson? There are a couple rumors out there, nothing solidified, but that is what this show is all about. I want to give to you guys as well a place to kind of talk about it and think, could the Bucs actually trade Anthony Nelson as he's going on to his last contract year? Now, PFSN, which is Pro Football Sports Network, Jacob Infante had this to say on why we're actually talking about Anthony Nelson and a possible trade. Anthony Nelson has been with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers since 2019, but he faces an uphill battle to make the 53-man roster in 2026. They drafted Rueben Bain Jr. in round 1 this year, signed Al-Quadin Muhammad, who came off an 11-sack season with the Lions in 2025, and still have Chris Braswell and David Walker coming off the bench. Nelson could be worth spending a late-round pick on for a team in need of veteran edge help. Now, if you guys are unfamiliar with Anthony Nelson, who he's a Super Bowl champion, drafted in the 4th round, the 2019 NFL draft with pick 109, he signed a 2-year, $10 million contract extension back in March in 2025 and has been bumped down the depth chart as we continue making defensive additions to the line. And honestly, when I thought about this video and doing this, I was like, when this question comes up, should the Bucs trade Anthony Nelson? I'm just going to ask you guys straight up right now. Let me know, like, should the Bucs trade Anthony Nelson? When I was thinking about this question, I was like, I don't know. Like, this is a really tough question, but you let me know down in the comment section. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I may be asking you again after we talk about it a little bit more at the end of the video. So have some time to think about it, because it is a really tough question if you think about it. Because when you think about Anthony Nelson, you're like, oh yeah, he's a solid player. And then you think about, well, we got Rueben Bain Jr., you got Al-Quadin Muhammad, you got a couple people coming off the bench as well. Like, should you trade him? If you get enough value for him, I think it could be a good idea. But I also see the other side of it, where you look at the last 4 seasons, not too bad, right? 15 games played last year, 38 tackles, 3 TFLs, 3 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles, as well as that pick 6 off of Spencer Rattler against the Saints, which was an electric play. But, like, other than that, you know, you look back at 2022 and he had 5.5 sacks, but then you go back to 2024 and 2023, which honestly almost exactly the same stats. So he's pretty consistently average, right? And when you look at this linebacker depth chart, you're going to move around a lot of people, including Rueben Bain Jr., Yaya Diaby. You spend that money on Al-Quadin Muhammad, he's definitely going to get some run in. And then you have David Walker coming back and Chris Braswell coming off the bench as well. Like, we haven't seen what David Walker could do. I'm struggling to find a spot for him right now. And that doesn't mean I want to trade him away and be like, oh, yeah, he's done. But at the same time, when roster cutdown day comes, you have to make the hard decisions of, I know Anthony Nelson has been with us since 2019. He's won a Super Bowl. He's helped win a Super Bowl. But he's kind of getting bumped down that roster and that depth chart. And we've got David Walker coming back from injury. He's a 4th-round pick as well out of Central Arkansas. 26 years old. Anthony Nelson is 29 years old. So he tore his ACL in 2025 in training camp. We have not seen what David Walker can bring to this team. So I think he's going to have a spot on that roster. I'm struggling to find a spot for Anthony Nelson. And that sucks, because he has been pretty good run stopper, setting the edge, and honestly, a good veteran presence as he continues to get older. And it's sort of like each year you're like, all right, Anthony Nelson, yeah, we're good. We'll take him. And then he continues to give that consistent average edge rusher play. No big plays except for that interception, but, like, what do you do from there? So what could a trade actually look like? I have an idea of what a trade could look like, and we're going to look like that. Oh, my goodness, English today. We're going to look at that towards the back half of today's video. But before we do that, I want to give you a huge shout out to our sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. You've heard me talk about PrizePicks on every single video, and that's because they are America's #1 sports picks app out there as well as mine. The playoffs for basketball are nuts right now. The finals, if you guys are not watching them, put a lineup in because it is absolutely electric. The app is super simple to use. Just pick more or less on a few player sets and lock in your lineup. With the new social feeds feature, you can actually follow me at Reed Barkus to check out my profile and the lineups I submit. So if you're not into any hockey or into any basketball, you're like, I'm more of a football guy, Reed. Hey, they've got you covered as well. They have season-long prize picks for football. So my season long, I've showed it before, it is Baker Mayfield, the more on his passing yards, Emeka Buka, the more on his receiving yards, and then I have the less on Bijan Robinson. If you guys want to get in a lineup like this, please go ahead and do so with our friends over at Prize Picks. It is super, super simple to use, and if you're a new user, we've actually got an offer for you. Download the Prize Picks app today with the link in the comments and description and use code HMA. You'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code HMA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, now let's talk about the idea of trading Anthony Nelson. What does that actually look like, right? Because looking back at his stats, it's kind of like up in the air. I don't really know what his worth is in terms of a trade, right? Because 38 tackles last year, had that interception, but he has been consistently an average edge rusher. And he is tall, lengthy, good to set the edge and good against the run, but he's nothing special, right? And the end, I mean, he's a good run defender, right? He's a good run defender. I'll give him that. If you watch any highlights from last year or the year before, anything like that, he's always right there, making the tackle on the edge and setting the edge very, very well. He's got a high motor, loves to make plays, loves to run after the quarterback. He has pass rush ability too. He's a jack of all trades, and he's good at everything, master of none. You know what I mean? So he helped us win that Super Bowl in 2020. He had a couple tackles. It's just how long can we keep a guy on that roster when we, as a defense, need a lot more big splash plays? So what could some potential teams and trade destinations for Anthony Nelson be? The Bengals, they just lose Trey Hendrickson. I know they add Dexter Lawrence, but Anthony Nelson is more of a backup type of edge rusher. He's not going to give you anything splashy. So the Bengals, add some depth, right? Dolphins, they're rebuilding right now. They got Chop Robinson over there, but he's very inconsistent. I think they could use an extra guy on that defensive line. The Bills, go look at the Bills edge rusher lineup right now or depth chart. I think you could name maybe one guy. They need some help and depth as well. The Bears always need some edge help as well. And then I know interdivisional trades are not always what everyone likes to hear, but the Falcons are really struggling in terms of that with James Pierce Jr. and his whole situation going on. He's guilty, not guilty. Is he going to play next year? We don't know. So they could always use depth in the edge rusher or edge rusher room there. So these are just some teams I kind of came up with. If you guys have any other teams that you think that Anthony Nelson could do a trade to, please let me know in the comment section. I love hearing from you guys. But is it worth it, right? That's the question. He's 29 years old, 6'7", 271. He's long, lengthy, and he can set the edge, like I've said, and he's good. He's a good edge rusher. But I don't think we're looking for good edge rushers anymore. We need explosive, big play-making guys, and that is not Anthony Nelson. You save $4 million if you trade him in the cap. It's not huge, but $4 million you could use on something else, right? Need all the money you can get. So my trade idea is this: just NFL team, whoever it may be, receives Anthony Nelson, and we get a 6th-round pick, right? He's a later round pick type of trade value. The question is, would that be enough to trade him, right? That's the biggest question, because I don't know his value right now. His value is a backup edge rusher. He's not a starter, but he's not a bad player at all where he's just sits down at the depth chart. He is going to get some run if he stays on this squad, right? I have him backed up to Rueben Bain Jr. right now and Al-Quadin Muhammad behind Yaya Diaby. But like, you run different types of defenses, you'll be using multiple defensive end, edge rusher type, right? But David Walker, I want to see what he can do this year. Chris Braswell, I'm giving him another chance. Second round pick out of Alabama. Like, he's got to step it up. So he's probably going to have one. So how many linebackers are you going to keep on this squad? And is Anthony Nelson going to be value to that other than depth, right? So I'll ask you again. Should the Bucs trade Anthony Nelson? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I love to hear what you guys have to say because it puts myself in perspective. I'm a fan just like you. And do I have my Bucs goggles where I value him a lot more than other people think? But I feel like edge rusher is always a position that you can't have too many, right? And other teams could value that a lot more. Maybe the Browns, they just added Jared Verse through that Myles Garrett trade, but you had a couple more guys to make up for that Myles Garrett production. The Browns could be even in that. So if I'm going to answer this question right now, I've had some time to think about it with you guys. I'm saying no. He brings you a good veteran presence for the younger guys like Rueben Bain Jr., Chris Braswell as well, like David Walker. There's a couple younger guys in there that even Yaya Diaby helping him with, becoming the leader of that defensive line. He's a good depth piece. And I think his depth value is more than a late round pick, like a 6th round pick or a 7th round pick. If you could get like maybe a 5th round pick, then I'd be like, all right, yeah. But it's a trade is two ways, right? Two streets. One team has to be like, yeah, I'll trade for him. If we're like, hey, let's trade Anthony Nelson, and then you look and you get no calls, it won't work, right? So I'm saying no. I think the depth he brings on this defensive line is good, and we need as many pass rushers as we can get heading into 2026. A little extra note here at the end of today's video. The Bucs actually signed a kicker, BT Potter, and waived punter Adrian Laros. Potter, 5'10", 200, 5'10", 200, has previous NFL experience with the Pittsburgh Steelers, appearing in the 2023 preseason with them. So give some competition to Chase McLaughlin. I don't know. Maybe just more of a training camp type of guy to get maybe returners. Our special teams sucked, so maybe just an extra guy to get more kicks off and stuff like that. So, hey, just extra news, right? I was going to do talk about it on a video, but I don't know if you guys are super interested in signing kicker BT Potter. But hey, I put it at the end of today's video. And speaking of the end of today's video, we've made it there. And if you are here with me at the end of the video, that means we're doing something here pretty right. So if you like today's content, hit the subscribe button. It is $0 to watch this video and watch all of the other videos. So we're at 2,497 to 2,497 loyal Bucs fans who just want to watch some good content on the Buccaneers. So if that's you, make sure to hit the subscribe button. $0, you get free fun content all off season long and during the season. So stay tuned. I'll try and have as many videos as possible for you guys. So as always, fire the cannon.